Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Bodybuilding Secrets from the Bible. Now, once again, you might be asking yourself, if you weren't here for the last episode, what does the Bible have to do with bodybuilding? Well, the Bible is filled with principles that we could apply to our lives, and I believe I've recently found a lot of principles that apply to bodybuilding as well. So, in the last episode, we talked about how imagination imagining is the first step to achieving the physique of your dreams. And so, before getting into the next steps of achieving the physique of your dreams, the secrets that are in the Bible for achieving the physique of your dreams, I actually feel like I sort of glossed over the principle that makes all of these things possible, which once again is found in Genesis. We're still in Genesis, in the creation of man, the creation of creatures. So we're still in Genesis 1, verse 28. And so it says, "And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth." So this is the be, do, have principle, which we sort of hinted at in the last episode. And so the idea is it's impossible to consistently do something which is inconsistent with your identity. And so a lot of people try to do something to achieve a certain result, but because they haven't become a different person, it's hard for them to stay consistent with that. And so I think if we look at what God is saying to us, what God commanded us to do in Genesis 1:28, we could get a better idea of how to go about things to where we can change our identity and not continually bump our heads against trying to do something and failing. So he says, be fruitful. So what does it mean to be fruitful? Well, a fruit has the seed of its potential within itself. A fruit is a living organism which has the seed of itself within itself. So, in other words, an apple is a fruit, a living organism. It's something that you can eat, but it also has seeds of several apple trees within it. There's somebody who said that, any man could count the number of seeds in an apple, but only God can count the number of apple trees within an apple seed, or within the seeds of an apple. And so, in the same way, the idea of be fruitful, the idea is we as human beings can be similar to fruits. Now, that might sound ridiculous, but the idea is God planted a seed. Now, what is that seed? That seed is our potential. So how does this all apply to bodybuilding? Well, all of us have a potential, a genetic potential. And I hear a lot of guys complain about, they had bad genes, they had, whatever, if only they had such and such genes, then they could have a physique. But all of us were implanted by God with a certain genetic potential, and that is the seed that is planted within us. And we are commanded by God to be fruitful. And so, whatever your genetic potential is, that is a seed that only God knows what is possible. And so, one of the most, one of the biggest killers of achieving the physique that you desire. One of the things that I think stops so many guys from achieving the physique they desire is that they're constantly complaining about the seed that they were given, the potential that they were given. And we all have that desire, just like a seed desires to be a tree. We all have that desire to have a better physique. But for the guys out there who complain about their genetics, complain about the lot that they were given in life as far as physical genetics. Obviously, none of us can control that. But those guys are sort of like a seed that never plants itself into the ground. They never actually put themselves in a position where they could turn into a tree. And so it's like their seed just is a waste. They're not being fruitful. So the first step, the first, or I won't say the first step, but the first concept there in the be, do, have principle is to be fruitful. Is to take the seed of your potential and to plant it into the ground and not let it go to waste. And then multiply, multiply, do multiply. That is the activity. You know, now that you have the identity of being something that bears fruit, now you have the activity of what does a fruit does. What does a fruit do? So you plant, you have one apple, you have several seeds, you plant those seeds, and now you have apple trees. Now you have, you know, who knows how many apples. You have several more apples. And so the idea is not only do you, you know, maybe get better today, not only do you plant that seed today, but you keep planting that seed, and you keep cultivating it so that you can continue to flourish and continue to pull out your potential. And as far as your physique, that means that you just keep learning, you keep getting better, you keep progressing, you keep, you know, figuring out the best ways to go about doing things, you keep getting stronger, you keep going into the gym, you keep refining what you're doing, you keep refining your diet, you keep getting better and better and better. And so that's the second part, the be fruitful, do multiply, replenish, and subdue. And the subdue part is very interesting because to subdue means to sort of essentially bring something under control. And that has a lot to do with discipline, with being, to subdue something means to, you know, like almost trample it. And this is another concept which I don't want to get too deep into, but the concept of the law of advancement. The first thing that happens when you try to do something good is something bad. And so people think they're on the wrong path when that something bad happens. You know, when you get into the gym and you start to, you know, have these struggles to have enough time to do the stuff you used to do. You know, your body starts to ache, your muscles start to ache because you're working harder than you have before, and you know, just things in life just pop up that, you know, people end up using as reasons why they couldn't stay consistent. You know, their family is calling on them for responsibilities, their relationship, their friends, whatever it is. They get sick. All of these things will happen on the path. And so we're called to subdue that. And so what does that mean? That means we're called to trample on every obstacle that steps in our way. And in the same way, if you're going to build a physique that is, you know, it's a very rare thing to achieve a lean muscular physique, you know, which everyone desires, you know, to be down there around 10 to 12% body fat and to, you know, be up there in your muscle mass. It's a very rare thing to do. You're going to have to trample on a lot of obstacles. And so this principle right here, once again, can be applied to bodybuilding because you're going to have a lot of obstacles. You're going to have a lot of people who don't understand you, who are like, why are you so obsessed? Why, you know, why this, why that? And so, once again, that principle applies. And then have dominion over every living thing that moveth over the earth. And so, once again, now that you have completed the becoming aspect, and now you've done everything that you needed to do, you've been fruitful, you've planted the seed, and you've cultivated that seed, and you've subdued the, let's say, the pests, the obstacles that would have destroyed your tree. Now you could have dominion, and now that's just the logical conclusion of becoming, then doing. Having is just the logical conclusion, and the having ends up just being something that, you know, just falls into place. And you have dominion over every living thing. In this case, that's having dominion over your own body. You've developed a level of where you are the king of your body. Your body is your kingdom, and you have dominion over your body. So I just wanted to. I realized I sort of glossed over this in the first episode. So yeah, this is another principle which is very key, in Genesis that applies to, obviously we could apply the Bible to all aspects of our life, but recently it's wild to me. I'm seeing how it applies to bodybuilding of all things, how the Bible applies to bodybuilding. So, uh, you could tell me if I'm crazy in the comments below. The Bible, does it have anything to do with bodybuilding? Um, you could comment below if you think it's completely way out there. But yeah, anyway. But then for everybody else, on the next episode, we'll continue with the other. So there are 4 steps total. We talked about imagination in the last episode. First, you have to imagine the physique that you desire, and that's the first step to having it. So in the next episode, we'll talk about what are the other 3 steps to becoming the person that does the things to have the physique of your dreams. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.